Hi, the principal I interviewed was Principal Sam Dickerson. He is the principal currently, the head principal at Normandy High School in Parma, which is the school that I work for as a transition coordinator and a special ed department head. Um, Mr. Dickerson got his background on his school path. He got a bachelor's degree in psychology and speech communication at Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania, along with his master's in counseling at Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania. He then got his master's in educational administration, supervision, and leadership at Ursuline College and special education at Cleveland State University. Why administration? I asked Mr. Dickerson basically why did he go into administration, and he stated that he wanted to go for the following reasons. He wanted to make a difference in kids' lives, and he wanted to not allow teachers to be stuck into rules and regulations, and be a person who shows, educators, opportunities to, and give them opportunities to think outside the box. He said he wants to help. He wanted to really he had a passion to help teachers get creative through the use of innovative, engaging instructional practices. So, being an administrator, he felt that was why what spiked his interest in becoming one. Um, as his admin background experience, he was at Cleveland Metropolitan School District. There, he worked at two different schools. First at Glenville High School, where he spent 1 year as a 10th grade principal, and he oversaw testing for that school. The next school in the Cleveland district was Lincoln West High School. There was 1 year with over 32 nationalities that attended, and he was a 9th grade principal at Lincoln West High School. Then he moved on to Elyria City School District. At Elyria High School, he spent 3 years. He was a team principal for grades 9 through 12, and then moved on to the Parma City School District, first starting off at Parma Senior High School for 1 year as an assistant principal, and then he moved over to Normandy High School 1 year as a deputy principal. And as a deputy, he kind of took control over like the teachers and doing the scheduling or the schedules for the teachers and things like that. And now he just got 1 year under his belt as the head principal of Normandy High School, where he oversees all the administrators there. There's 3 administrators. I asked Mr. Dickerson what his strengths and weaknesses were, and he said that his strengths include his ability to help people believe in themselves, calm storms, think well under demanding situations, and make sound decisions, and his ability to look at challenges in the face and come up with sound, concrete plans. Areas of improvement, he said that this took me a minute to comprehend because he said that his greatest strengths could be his greatest downfall. So sometimes when we focus on what we're good at, it's important to not allow people to utilize, his strengths to drain or wear him down. So since he's always so good at calming storms or, dealing with families and staff and students, he just said like the weakness is not allowing, all these issues, that he has a strength for to get him, drained or worn out. An area of concern I asked, that he has for our at-risk population, he said everyone doesn't share the same passion and understanding due to their own life experience, so they tend to see or understand or focus on, and they don't see and understand and focus like on the student's experience. So instead of like looking at it like, from the student's perspective or, the teacher's perspective, he thinks that, teachers often just go on what they've, known from their own life experiences, and they don't really open the box to really see each individual in the situation for, what it is. What do you do when someone's not following protocol? Mr. Dickerson said these situations are always arising in his job capacity as a principal. He said, always, you always have to do what's morally and ethically correct. So as long as you're following the process, there's no way someone can say you didn't follow their union contract, or nor they can you say you were unprofessional with them or unfair at all. As far as organization and communication, he spoke about how whenever he communicates with staff or the community, the first thing he likes to look at is a system of how we communicate with people and relay the message to the target audience. So basically, depending on who you're talking to, that's how he, goes around, communicating. He says that the way he relates it depends on, the audience. So whether it's the use of language he uses, or visual, written, and or digital, he definitely looks at his audience that he's trying to communicate to first. I asked about cultural problems, and basically what Mr. Dickerson feels is it tends to happen as we have our own personal experiences, and it guides our interactions with others. So it makes it difficult to make sound judgments. Therefore, he said he really tries to model moral and ethical decision-making practices to our school and community. So to really get other people, to see, how he models it, he hopes that other people look at him and, try to do the same thing instead of just being biased or not even being aware, Hindrances. Mr. Dickerson said, don't view things as hindrances and just see them as intellectual speed bumps. And I thought that was kind of funny, that he said that because, as an administrator, you're going to run into a lot of, issues and things that are going to stop you. But he just said, look at them as speed bumps. And, when you're a leader, it's your responsibility to find a way how, and not focus on the why not. And there are several people who depend on you for leadership when you're a principal. So it's always important to just, take the responsibility to find the way to the how and not to focus on the why not. Moral and ethical decisions. First and foremost, he said, always stick to the facts of the nature of the concern. So strictly stick to the facts. Then he said, analyze and assess and look at a way to create an opportunity for the moral and ethical outcomes of a situation. So basically, sticking to the facts helps you analyze what is actually going on, and it helps you create a solution. Something that he really presses for with our teachers. Try not to come with him with a problem. When you come with a problem, try to brainstorm a solution before you propose a problem to him. He likes to listen to what you would like to do to help this concern. With implementing justice and care, he said, you always have to look at the behavior first, and you then have to consider the cause of the behavior and the effect it has on the students and the school population. Once you do that, then you must do a fact-finding to determine whether the behavior is a result of the student's disability or challenges that he or she is faced with in their life. And then finally, you must develop a plan to help curb or have a self-monitoring process so that student can recognize his or her triggers for that behavior. So I really liked his steps in implementing justice and care because it really focuses on, an individualized problem and behavior, and actually it goes deeper into teaching what is the cause, why is this happening, why is this student constantly out of class, is this student have a rough home life, or are they always out of class and defiant because they have a terrible, they don't have a lot of support at home, or so they're defiant at school. Maybe that's why they get the most attention, if they are constantly getting themselves in trouble. So basically, you know, really doing your investigating to see if the student's disability is a result of the behavior is so important, and really helping to develop a plan or help curb, um, that individual student to self-monitor and take, just take responsibility of their actions and make them aware of what they're doing and how to fix it. Is it tough to follow the student handbook? I asked, and he said no, because here in our school building we utilize rules, yet we set expectations. And setting expectations is really important, and it also helps when the whole building as a whole is on the same page. Sometimes, we run into a lot of issues with cell phones and students using them and being just not responsible. And, there's a lot of like cheating that goes on, with tests and things like that with the cell phone. So if everybody is on the same page and we all set a building expectation, then that will significantly decrease the amount of problems we have, with cell phones or any other issue that we have. Consistency is a huge key to success with this. Legal consequences for actions. Mr. Dickerson definitely put a strong, impact on the fact that he was an intervention specialist before he was administrator, and that really gave him, a thorough understanding of free, appropriate public education. So that helped him with his, his career in administration and as a principal. And he kept saying that there's always, you always have to use careful consideration when you're working with students with disabilities. Addressing professional development opportunities. He said that it should be a collaborative approach by involving, what he does is he involves the building leadership team, the building forum committee team, the department chairs, administration, and support staff. And he said to let the professional development be teacher-led, because it really gives teachers, if you give them the ownership in this, they can listen to their peers and actually, maybe relate or maybe just respect that it's coming from, other teachers. So it helps the teachers that are teaching it, grow, and it also helps the teachers that are taking part in the professional development grow. I know that there was an issue with the co-teaching class where there wasn't a lot of differentiated instruction, and the intervention specialist teacher was out on medical leave. So he had asked me as the intervention, or the special ed department head, to sit down with the gen ed teacher and just go over, some different ways to, make instruction effective for all students in the class. And I was able to, take my knowledge and share it with her, and ways to implement effective, teaching strategies in her class, especially while her, intervention specialist co-teacher was out on leave for so long. Utilizing data. People that are impacted by the data must understand the data, so the correct instructional strategies can be used in the classroom. So once that is understood, this data should be shared with the students. And then there must be a mutual understanding to determine whether what are the best educational outcomes to enhance student achievement. So something that I kind of learned, sitting through, different department head meetings is the new air testing system, and understanding the points, understanding the data of what the kids, need to have, and how many points they need to have in each area for English or algebra, math, for, so you can help really guide the students. So once I was able to understand how the new point system worked for the new state test, I was able to really sit down with my students and explain to them what, their scores meant, what their points meant that they were getting, and what they needed. And it helped, guide and give them direction. Advice to someone looking to be a principal and administrator. He gave me some good pointers. First off, he said no day is the same day. So every day is different. There's never, you're not going through the same motions every day when you're a principal.